Your Country 1039 KGRT, Mr. Toby Keith, and I love this bar.
Time now for your question of the day. Brought to you by the Farmers and Crafts Markets of Las Cruces. Fresh produce, bread, meat, honey, food trucks, handmade art, music, and more. Every Saturday and Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., downtown Las Cruces.
That's right. Question of the daytime. And our question of the daytime comes from the fact that, well, I was actually, taking a look at things, thinking about what I was going to ask this morning, last night, and came upon this question. I went, yeah, and it's somewhat relatable because, that new Ryan Reynolds film was out recently. No, not Deadpool and Wolverine. No, not that one. The other one that was out before that people kind of just missed there, and that was IF, which basically stands for Imaginary Friends. Now, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, and I missed it in the theater, so I'm going to wait till I can go ahead and get my hands on it digitally. But I am a big fan of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends as well, which was a classic cartoon on the Cartoon Network. And since CartoonNetwork.com doesn't exist anymore, kind of hard to find those ones. But it got me thinking about things and, imaginary friends. Have you ever had an imaginary friend? Yeah, that's straight up. That's our question for today. And I have to share, because I'm not sure if my mom even remembers that I remember this, but I did have an imaginary pet. Yeah, imaginary pet parrot, which was basically my way of trying to get crackers for snacks. And this will go along with the question the other day about, doing silly things when we were kids. Remember in mid-school, a good friend of mine, we would pretend to have an invisible superhero, like those sort of small guy on our shoulder all times. Different powers, different things, Kids do weird things. That was middle school right there. But yeah, I've had my share of imaginary friends, and I was wondering about you. You guys, have you ever had an imaginary friend when you were a kid, or even now? I did have a good friend of mine that I used to work with. We used to tell her that her boyfriend was imaginary because nobody had ever seen him. I knew this woman for many years before I finally met her. I think once I met him, but he does exist. She had to point that one out. What about you, my friends? Our question of the day today: have you ever had an imaginary friend, or do you know someone who has an imaginary friend? A little pal to hang out with. Once again, you can give me your answers for our question of the day by giving me a call or sending a text message. Phones are working, by the way. So 575-523-KGRT. That's 575-523-5478. We are live on our social media pages as well, Facebook and YouTube. So you can go ahead and go there and leave your comments as well. And let me know, do you have or have you ever had an imaginary friend? That is our question of the day. Okay, we are exclusively up on our social media pages right now. And yeah, like I said, I was going through a bunch of questions and options and thinking about what I was going to ask today. And this one just came along. And I'm thinking, yeah, when I was a kid, very, very young kid, this is how young I was. I think my mom was still working at as a waitress at a particular restaurant. But yeah, I had an imaginary parrot. Yeah, he always wanted to eat some crackers. It was amazing how many crackers he wanted to eat. But I guess that's where I learned manipulation very early on, because I ate a lot of crackers. But no, I had my imaginary parrot friend. And like I said, in middle school, we were just being silly, pretending to have our invisible superheroes with us. But what about you? Have you ever had an imaginary friend, or do you remember an imaginary friend as a kid? And I'm not talking about the monsters in your closet either, although some of them can be cool. Or let me know your answers for our question of the day today. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at what is going on in and around the world today. Travis Kelce set to star in a new buddy cop film called Loose Cannons. This movie is an action comedy about two cops partnered up to improve their performance. Interesting. I'm all up for the buddy cop film. Let's see. Jake Paul anticipates earning $40 million for his upcoming fight with Mike Tyson. The fight is scheduled for November 15th. Hopefully nothing will wipe that out, because honestly, I want to see Mike just he'll have $40 million, but he's going to have to relax for a while. We'll put it that way. Let's see. We have Walmart reducing prices on over 7,000 items to offer customers more savings. Oh, that's nice. That's very good. I wonder what items those will be. Here's one that comes out of left field. Dude Wipes coming out with a new camouflage colored wipe for hunters. So apparently it will blend in with the surroundings. That's kind of disgusting. Let's see. Prospector Popcorn is also launching pumpkin spice gourmet popcorn. Really? Sometimes I think this pumpkin spice thing has gone a little bit overboard, and we're not even really into the full season yet. So it's going to get crazy. And details about the new iPhone 16 are going to be released on September 10th. Apple may unveil a new bronze color for its phones. Interesting. But that's what's going on in and around the world. And my question for you today, have you ever had an imaginary friend? You know, like that movie with Ryan Reynolds, If, talking about imaginary friends, or if you've ever been a fan of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends back in the day on Cartoon Network, which was one of my favorite shows. In fact, it has one of my favorite imaginary friend characters in there because there's a bunch of them, but Cheese is awesome. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. It's hilarious. But go ahead and let me know your answers for our question of the day. Have you ever had an imaginary friend? Let me know your answers for our question of the day, brought to you by the Farmers and Crafts Market